Can you become a front-end developer in less than 6 months? Today's video is very important to me because millions of people every year waste their time, their energy, their money on acquiring a degree from a university just because they want to become a cool front-end developer. They want to build very cool websites. And in my opinion, this is such a sad waste of time, money and energy. And you can simply become that in 6 months. And I want to show you how. First of all, my name is Anton. This is my channel Code and Success. I talk about coding and success and money and whatsoever. And for the past 5 years, I've been working as a software developer, currently as a freelancer. And now I can confidently say you don't need a degree to become a software developer. You just need to follow these 5 steps. But why? You just have to think from another perspective. You don't have to think as someone who is applying for a job. You have to think as someone who is taking. You have to think as someone who is hiring new developers. Like for example, I want to complete a website, a cashback website, and I'm thinking about hiring someone to help me because I spend much time with my normal day job. I don't have much time to work on other things. Now, when I go out and look for someone who can help me, even from some country like India or Pakistan or wherever else, I don't care. I care about, and most other companies care about, is the person reliable? Can the person communicate properly? And does he have the skills to work as a programmer? And does he have some kind of experience? And if you have these 4 things, then you can do whatever you want. Then all the doors are open for you. And you can get your first job, and then after some years you're already a software developer and no one will care about if you have a degree or not. This is only to get the foot in the door. Let's start with step number 1. Learn a front-end language. First of all, what is front-end? Front-end is everything you see on the front, on your screen. For example, in the Facebook, this is everything you see on your screen. All the cool buttons, all the cool text and colors, this is all the front-end. And the data which is loaded into the front-end, this is all in the back-end. Now, the good thing about the front-end is usually we have dozens or hundreds of languages to choose from. But after all, front-end is always the same. The main technologies which are universal across the internet are always HTML, CSS and JavaScript. You will find, of course, tons of cool libraries like Angular or React or Vue.js, which are still in the end JavaScript, but they just have a wrapper around them which makes them more easy to understand, to read and write the code. But after all, it is always compiled to JavaScript, which is the language of the World Wide Web. HTML, which simply means hypertext markup language, is simply the structuring. Like you always have the big structure, this is my site, this is my header, this is my text. In the text box we have the paragraph, we have the picture, we have another paragraph, we have the footer, and maybe we have a nice text box on the side. And this skeleton is simply HTML. And to learn that, simply go to YouTube. You don't need to buy a fancy big book. Just type in crash course HTML. It is very easy to understand. This should take you just a few days. You will get what it means. It's not a programming language, it's a markup language. Second language you need to learn is CSS. CSS means cascading style sheets, and it is even easier. It is around the same difficulty of HTML, maybe a little bit more difficult. It's simply about designing everything. And with CSS, you can move these elements around. You can put borders on them, you can put colors and hundreds of other cool things. You can just think of it as a designing language and just additional rules for your HTML. It's a styling language. It's also not a programming language. For that also, you will need to at least spend a week with it playing around. Even spend more time if you like, and you will be fine. And number 3 is JavaScript. JavaScript is a very old language. It's maybe not sexy. It's maybe a bit difficult or doesn't make too much sense in the beginning. I understand that. It's a programming or scripting language. And there you can say, for example, you have a button, and when you click on the button, then I want this element to show up on the screen. And to make that logic alive, you simply use JavaScript. This will give life to your static and lifeless website. There you can then do hundreds of cool things. You can store data, you can put a timer inside, and you know, the typical website elements. And to learn that, you also can just simply follow a cool course on the YouTube for free. If you want to learn more than that, you can also learn it from a book, where you can learn all the details from the JavaScript, or you can learn from a cool course on the Udemy. Udemy is simply a very nice site where you can also buy video courses for like $10 to $15, but these courses will be like 10 to 40 hours long. But they are worth it in my opinion. JavaScript is a very big language. Most websites nowadays, most companies, they don't use the naked JavaScript. They use the wrappers around them, like Angular or React or Vue.js or something else. So don't spend too long on learning the naked JavaScript. Just play around with it a few weeks, maybe build a cool little mini game with it on your website, like the tic-tac-toe or like something else, and just get a feeling for it. And then we go to step number 2. Learn a modern framework. A framework is simply the thing that I talked about. It is a wrapper. There we have the 3 most commons: Angular, React, and Vue.js. I personally prefer Angular because it is backed by Google, React is backed by Facebook or Meta, but Angular in my opinion makes more sense. It is also more powerful than React, and it is simply better structured, because React is, in my opinion, is kinda messy because you put many things in one file, and with Angular you have the logic in one file, you have the tests in one file, the styling in one file, and the HTML, like the structure, in one file. And for me, this makes the most sense. Google uses this. It is developed by Google, so you will be fine. You can use it for the next few decades, don't worry. And here you should spend much more time, the next 1 or 2 months, to learn the concepts of Angular, for example, to understand how does it work, what are life cycles, and for that you can simply go to angular.dev or angular.io, and there you will see from the official Google Angular site, and you can just do those in the beginning. You can read the documentation, but in my opinion it is more fun to learn from a cool video course. For that I'm planning one in the future. Or you simply type into Google Angular full course for beginners, or you type it into Udemy. You can also get a book, of course, but the book may be more dry or the examples will not work properly. So I recommend that you simply pick a cool video course and follow it for the next 1 or 2 months and try to code along and understand what happens on the screen. Step number 3 is the most important one. You need to build projects. Build between 3 and 5 projects, spend 3 months, or if you feel like it, spend even more time on it, because only with building projects, only with really working on something, on a problem, on a project, only then you will really learn how to use those tools. This is the 90% that gives you the advantage, that teaches you everything. Think of some cool ideas to build. You can start simple. You can just start simple without the Angular, without the frameworks. Just pick a cool website, a random website on the World Wide Web. For example, the starting page of Facebook where you can log in. This is always a good starting point, or maybe the Google site, which is even easier. And just use HTML and CSS to like rearrange those elements on the screen to make a copy of that website. And then you can also add some JavaScript and like you click the button and something pops up, for example, just to get a feel for it. And then in the next projects you can start building your own personal website. There you have different web pages, you have some kind of logic, you maybe store some data, you maybe show some data or have some other interesting functions which you can show with your cool framework. Or you build a very cool, nice little tic-tac-toe game or something else. Just type into Google beginner front-end project ideas and you will find lots of very cool ideas to choose from, and just spend the next months playing around with those technologies. Build some projects, build 3 projects, build 5 projects, and until you feel confident in the tools that you have. Step number 4. Learn Git. Git is the universal tool across the internet to document your code. You can use Git to put your code online, then it's stored in some cool website like GitHub or GitLab, and there you can share it with other people. You can work with your friends or with other people together at one project, and Git will be used at every company. You have to learn it, it's important. It's not as difficult as learning a programming language. Git can be very big, but you only have to use a small part in most everyday activities you have to somehow. Just find a cool course on the YouTube along with GitHub or GitLab. These are the websites to see your changes, to see your code that you published. I recommend GitLab. It's a bit easier to use and makes more sense than GitHub in my opinion. This should only take you 1 or 2 weeks to learn it, to understand it. You will be fine. Step number 5, build a CV and start applying. Now make a sexy CV. Type in your name, type in your soft skills, that you have a burning desire to become a software developer, that you're a fast learner, and explain your projects. I know it's not real projects, but they are real for you. You spend time on them and just write those projects, write the logic in the projects, like what technologies you have used. You maybe have used HTML, CSS, the Angular, RxJS, observables, like many other fancy things, and just write those things and write the logic behind them. Explain to the reader what you did in your projects. Don't make it short. This is some nonsense. Better write more than writing not enough, because you want to impress someone, you want to get an invitation. Now you have made a sexy CV where you also linked your GitHub or GitLab profile with your cool projects that you have done before, and now simply apply to hundreds of companies. Better focus now on small companies, because big companies, they have the HR, they have like lots of funny rules where they only take the people with the university degrees, with the bachelors and masters, or people with years of experience. You just want to get your foot in the door. Your priority now should be to find a job where you can learn. The good thing is, at small companies you learn the best, because big companies usually everyone gets a few tasks for the next few weeks, and there's not too much to do oftentimes. But with small companies you will be always busy. It may not sound sexy, but you are there to learn, to become a cool and good developer. You maybe earn not as much as you want to, but you can earning money. You can do in some years when you have acquired the skills to ask that money. Now priority is to learn, and simply do those things. Apply to many small companies. Be confident, show off that you know what you do, be communicative, and you will be fine. If you have questions, let me know. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. See you next time.